Tower of power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey. Oh yeah. This is the way of the dork.
Welcome everybody to episode 55 of the Four Dorksmen podcast. I am Nate, aka Angry Nate.
I'm not Nate.
I'm Collector Clint.
And I'm Asian Tony Stark.
And we've got a couple of very special guests joining us this week for our recording. We'll let them introduce themselves.
Can you smell what Austin is cooking? Hey guys, it's Austin.
I can. It kind of
underscore Keel. The double underscore is back. I think that should be my wrestling name. And Hunko on Instagram.
There it is.
And I'm Ed Pogue. I didn't think of anything funny to say at the beginning.
Me either.
Hey, that works. That's okay.
You can find me on Twitter. You know.
Yeah.
What's your screen name on Twitter there, Ed?
Screen name on Twitter.
Buttwasted.
Yeah.
There you go.
But 'twas Ted.
You know, I have a hard time saying it like that. I can't. It's like Cameron does it so well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what one of the first questions I was gonna ask was like, how do you pronounce your screen name? Because I know Sully says it Buttwasted, and Cam says it his own way, and I always just thought it was Buttwasted. Well, thank you for clearing that up.
It's just Buttwasted. Just Buttwasted.
Perfect.
Yeah. On regular wasted.
Yeah.
No. You gotta be completely butt-wasted.
Yeah, I'm curious on the origin story of that name.
Oh, he's told that story before.
I've heard. I have typed it out. Quantum Mechanics asked me one time, and I typed it out in really good detail for them. But if you want to hear, I can tell you the quick 1-minute version.
Sure. Please do.
Let's do it. Go for it.
In 1995, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings with my friend Ryan. Back then, they used to call it BW3. Mm-hmm. Strictly the BW3. And we completely blasted out of our minds. We're leaving, and I look up the sign, and my friend says, "Well, what's the BW3 stand for?" I said, "Well, it's butt-wasted to the third power." And it got stuck from that point.
Funny.
That's amazing.
I'd never heard that. I love it.
You guys couldn't have been that wasted if you remembered it, though.
You'd be surprised when you remember when you're.
Yeah, that's true, but we did have a third party there.
Okay.
The third, yeah, that's.
By the way, Joey, on our intros, I was surprised you were going to sing "I Can't Drive 55" since this is episode 55.
I would leave the singing up to you. Not that it's great singing, but just still leave it up to you.
Please don't.
Ryan, I'll get you later. Don't worry.
He's getting his podcast mixed up.
Oh god. Yeah. Austin taking shots nice and early. I like it.
Jab.
Bring it on, Austin. Bring it on.
We haven't even gotten through the housekeeping stuff yet. We've already gotten way off topic, which is honestly super on brand. And thank you guys for joining us this week. If you didn't know, the topic this week of why we're having these guys on is we're talking wrestling. So we're talking all things wrestling.
Whoa.
Wrestling?
Talking about wrestling?
Yeah.
Not
all right. I thought this was
like cattle wrestling. We're talking about
hair
care. This is actually an intervention because Austin swears too much, so we're having an intervention for Austin.
All right, I'm out. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, good luck.
Austin has left the building.
We're just gonna say our part, then you'll say your part, and then we'll go home. It'll be done.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Austin, you guys, I'm going home.
Just remember, you are cared about.
Hey, that means the world.
Hey, no interrupting. All right, go, Nate. Hurry.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, _Dorksmen. You can always email us at dorksmen@gmail.com. We might respond to your email on the air, probably. We will probably never respond to your actual email ever, just because it's become a thing now, and we're not going to start at episode 55 responding to your emails. What else we got going on? So we'll have some announcements later today about our 1-year celebration next week. We truly don't know what we're doing yet, but join us sometime next week for a pre-party. It'll probably be on Sunday. It'll probably be an hour long. We don't know what's going to happen, but we'll be announcing details throughout the week. So let's just jump straight into.
Wait! You forgot something.
Oh, Dorksmen bingo.
There you go.
Right? That's the one. Dorksmenbingo.com. Make sure you're playing bingo. Ed plays every week. I have a feeling he's going to try to rig the card this week and say a few things. Yeah. Which is fine because it's a good time. But yeah, make sure you're playing Dorksmen Bingo. Shout out to Andrew Near Beardland for making that bingo card for us. And of course, Larry from the STS guys and Totally Rad for doing the redirect for us. And also, if you haven't checked out Andrew's podcast, he's doing a podcast with his brother, Toy Rewind. Unlike us, they will actually answer your emails. So if you feel like emailing a podcast, email them.
Yeah, shots fired, Andrew. We heard that.
Yeah,
we heard you.
Andrew. We heard you.
We're not going to change anything, but we heard you.
Yeah.
Can I get the name of that one again? What I haven't. This is the first I'm hearing of their.
It's called the Toy Rewind Podcast, and it's everywhere you listen to podcasts. And
they've got a Twitter and an Instagram too, and it's just it's either the Toy Rewind.
I think it
or
is
Toy Rewind.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, check them out. They have it's the three of them and him and his two brothers, and then they have one episode, and they said they're releasing the second one this week. So
and talking retro toys.
They talk about a specific toy, the one they
right each week it's different. Yeah. The first one was what, Centurions, or is that the one that's about to drop?
No, the Centurions was this week.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I had totally forgotten about those toys until they posted about it. I was like, oh my god, I had those.
Yeah,
with the holes all over to plug in different stuff into.
Yep,
crazy.
Yep. It's good times. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you're listening to them, follow them. I think that's it for
there you go. You're good.
There we go. I'm good now. I'm good. All right. So let's jump into the Ask the Dorksmen. Our first question this week comes from Benjamin Sager. Sorry if I butchered your last name there. But his question is, what popular fandom or fandoms do you have that have absolutely no interest in? So something that's super popular with a lot of people, but you just not your cup of tea. As usual, we start with Joey just because he's the tallest.
I guess that's why.
I'd have to say that probably the thing that's the most popular that I have very little interest in, like maybe 1 on a scale of 10, is Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
As popular as that is, I've never had any desire to. I think I've maybe seen the original 3 movies just one time. Like I didn't have a lot of desire to go back. Certainly didn't have a lot of desire to go back and watch the extended director's cut edition.
That's understandable.
Jeez Louise. And like I actually enjoyed the Hobbit trilogy more than I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But again, I haven't gone back to watch it. So do I like it? Yes. But am I like over the top for it like I should be for being in the nerd, geek, dork field that I'm in? No, I don't have a lot of vested interest in it.
Interesting. I would not have guessed that. Do you like Harry Potter?
Oh, love Harry Potter.
Interesting. Just and not that they're necessarily related. Yeah. I'm thinking like magic and
Oh yeah, read all the books, seen all the movies. We're about to start another rewatch now since we finished the MCU rewatch. Went to Universal last year, basically so we could go to the Harry Potter stuff. Yeah. So yeah,
interesting. That was not going to be my guess for you, but that's interesting. By the way, those movies, the original ones Joey's talking about, have aged horribly. You go back and look at the CGI, and you're like,
unlike with Star Wars, which used a lot of practical effects that I think has aged pretty well.
What were we talking about? We were talking about on Totally Rad Movie Podcast, the Ninja Turtle movie, which didn't use a lot of CGI. They used all the puppetry stuff, and it worked out so much better age-wise than the CGI would have. So
your practical effects are going to usually, because that's something that's been refined over decades. I mean, they've been using practical effects since basically movies got started. So that's going to still look good and hold up, as opposed to early CGI, which is not. Now, I'm curious if CGI now in 2020 is going to hold up to 2040, 2050 standards. I'm just wondering how much better it could possibly get than what it is.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm sure people said that about VCRs, in the 70s. They're like, it's never going to get better than cassette, VHS.
Yeah, then Laserdisc.
Right, Laserdisc, yes. How about our guest? You got an answer yet, or do you want us to go?
Austin?
I was going to say Dragon Ball Z. And since I have no interest in it, I have really nothing to say about it.
You know what? I'm going to tag on. Anime has definitely been mine. You know, especially as Funko Pop collectors, we've seen so much anime coming out. And don't get me wrong, the sculpts are neat. The paint jobs are awesome. Everything's cool about them. I have no interest in collecting them. I watched, like, I think Dragon Ball Z for a month when it used to be on Cartoon Network when I was in high school. And I was like, nothing's freaking happening. They're all just yelling and grunting the whole time, and everyone's fine. Like, what? I don't get it. But
I don't think many of us would argue the fact that the anime line probably has the best overall sculpts of all the lines that they do.
Yeah, they're great. Don't get me wrong, but just I'm with you, Austin. I have no interest in having anything to do with any of them personally, and maybe I need to give them a second chance. But I'm with you. I'm like,
Right.
Ed, how about you?
Well, I could name 1,000 things I'm not interested, but to pick one, Game of Thrones.
Pick one.
Mm.
You enjoy
I've never seen it. No interest. I didn't want to fall down that well. I didn't want to like start watching it and then become obsessed with it and then have to buy everything. I didn't want to, same reason I avoided a lot of things, but I'm going to go with number one with that.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Good answer. You want to go first? You want to go first, Nate, or should I go?
I can go. I'm gonna hurt Ed with this one because I know you're a big Star Trek guy. I'm not a big. Nothing wrong with Star Trek. I think Star Trek is
Ed,
cool.
why'd you? Ed just hung up, dude.
He's hurt.
I've watched episodes throughout the years and stuff, but I'm just like, I just can't get into it. Sci-fi is just really not my thing. Like it has to be very specific.
Like the
new
new
movies, I actually enjoy some of the movies.
Here.
But yeah, like just in general, just Star Trek's was really not my thing. I'm sorry, Ed.
Nah.
Ryan, how about you?
I'm trying to think of one that hasn't already been said because I fall into all those categories. Never watched Game of Thrones, except maybe for like half of the first episode, but that was it. Not a fan of Lord of the Rings. Star Trek, I'm a fan, but not as much as Star Wars. I just know more about Star Wars, and that's partially because of my family upbringing. My dad, in specific, was more of a Star Wars fan. But for me, and oddly enough, being of Japanese ancestry, I am not a fan of anime. So stereotype broken there. What has not been said? Probably The Walking Dead. That was a huge thing, and then oddly enough,
that's interesting.
Yeah, this comes up for me especially now. My wife is not into horror. She's not into like a lot of like jumpy type of films, but oddly enough, she likes vampire type stuff. So she was watching Vampire Diaries, and she's been binging a lot of that type of stuff on Netflix. And so I go into the living room the other day, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" Because there's like all kinds of like gore on the screen, and then all of a sudden I see a walker coming. I'm like, "Are you watching The Walking Dead?" She's like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "You like this stuff? You're not into horror or like any." She's like, "This isn't horror." I'm like, "Honey, it kind of is." And then all of a sudden, a walker's arm falls off. I'm like, "Yeah, that's gross." But
I thought you were gonna say all of a sudden I was sleeping on the couch.
Oh no. But I just don't get it. She's not into that kind of stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I have nothing else to watch." I'm like, "That's a hard life you have, honey."
What you could almost, I mean, and I'm splitting hairs here, kind of, but I mean that's almost like more of a thriller than a horror at times, right?
Yeah, but just
and
a lot of that stuff anyway.
season.
She's not into that at all.
Oh,
So it really struck me as very odd that she was watching The Walking Dead, especially by herself. So, anyway, going back, this is a typical Ryan answer, right? Just wander off into the field. End the story, The Walking Dead.
very good.
Very good. Yeah, so I guess we did touch on a little bit of everything. So we are a multicultural melting pot of dislikes. So there's not
That's
just
right.
one, not just
That sounds
one
like a
specific.
podcast.
Nailed it.
That sounds like a podcast episode.
Multicultural
diverse
melting
group of
pot
dislikes.
Yeah,
That's
I
actually
like
pretty
it.
good. It's catchy.
Yeah.
Kind of long.
We should
but
do that sometime.
Yeah.
Jotting that down. All right. Thank you, Benjamin, for the question. We'd love to hear.
I want to know your answer, Ben.
Yeah, we want to know your answer, Ben. What's popular fandom that you have absolutely no interest in? So, in possibly a first, our second question comes from one of our current guests, who is Ed. His question was, if given the opportunity to guest star on an episode of an animated series that's currently on the air, which one would you choose? So that's key, is that it has to be currently being made new episodes. So you can't pick one that's been off the air.
No
Is
King of
My
the
Little
Hill.
Pony still making episodes?
They are.
Yeah, there you go. That's my answer.
I could picture a Joey Pony.
Joey the Brony.
Joey the Pony.
Joey the Brony? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I guess they're calling you
The
Joey the
Brony
Brony
Pony.
now.
I'm pretty sure we just found the title for the episode.
Joey the Brony.
No, you did not. No, you did not.
I'm honored.
Oh,
Sounds
that's
like a
good.
wrestling name to me.
Hey, yeah.
Joey the
Joey
Brony.
the Brony.
Oh
That's jabroni. That's
Joey Brony.
wrestling.
Oh,
Joey Jabroni also works.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Joey Japoni.
How about Brony Joni the Jabroni?
Okay, you're just pushing it now, Clint.
Brony Joey the Jabroni.
Words with friends now.
I'm just writing shit down in Skype so we have that. Anyways, is that actually your answer, Joey? Is it
No,
actually-
it's not My Little Pony.
Of course, he had to ask if it was on. I'm pretty sure it's not. His
Well,
real answer.
The funny thing is the reason I thought about that is because obviously my answer would be Bob's Burgers, and I was thinking about the episode where Bob dresses up as a, how's it pronounced, a questronaut or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I started thinking about that. But yeah, I'd like to be a character on Bob's Burgers. I'd like to be somebody that comes and finally like unseats Jimmy Pesto as Bob's nemesis. I want to be Bob's new nemesis. I just want to just drive him crazy somehow. I don't know how, but that's what I would want to do.
Oh, you thought it through like the response. I didn't. I was just thinking we need to name a show, not like the character and the synopsis and his backstory and his blood type and everything. But
Dude, you're just going to give Rick and Morty. That was going to be your answer. Just be like,
it
Rick
wasn't.
and
My
Morty.
actual answer was going to be Bob's Burgers, but I had a feeling you were
Oh,
going to
was
say
it?
that. So yeah. So yeah, probably Rick and Morty would be the next one. I'd be okay with South Park too, and with both of those, I'd be okay with some random one-time, even one-line character. I'd be okay doing like I think it's Jay Leno, who is Turkey number 3 in the first season of South Park.
Yes.
So I'd be fine with something stupid like that, just to say I did it. Just have my name in the credit. And then who did he play? Oh, he played the guy belching as they walked by or something. So. But yeah, I'd go Rick and Morty and Bob's that are currently on. Now, we go. The Simpsons has always been a dream, but how much longer can that be on? Anyway,
Plus, that's
those are my
vague
answers.
answers.
Right. All right. Let's keep it going the same order as last time. Austin, what do you got?
I think SpongeBob is still on the air.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I grew up with SpongeBob SquarePants, and just thinking about this question, I'm gonna go with the Glove World episode. Can't go wrong with the Glove World. It's just
Yeah.
amusement park type episode. I would just be the guy on the carousel in the back, just enjoying myself.
Just enjoying life.
That's it. But yeah, I grew up loving SpongeBob, and I actually loved like going to like the local carnival as a kid. So I think that fits well.
Very
That's
good.
awesome. Very good choice.
My turn.
Your turn.
I gotta go Family Guy. I want to be the gym teacher. I want to be the guy that's brought in to whoop the kids into shape, but unfortunately, I'm more like Chris Farley, and I'm out of breath the whole time.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
All right.
Nate?
I'd got to go with The Simpsons, just because it's classic. It's just something I grew up on, something I've always wanted to be, being a part of. And shout out to my wife, who actually for a gift, I don't remember if it was anniversary or birthday or something.
I think it was birthday. If I know what you're
Birthday?
talking about. Yeah.
And she got me drawn as a Simpsons character with Banner outside of Funko HQ. So that was a pretty great gift. So it's as close as I'm ever going to be to actually being on The Simpsons, and so that works for me.
So you play yourself?
I would absolutely play myself. I would want to replace Ned as the annoying neighbor. Yeah. So
Nate Flanders.
Yeah, exactly. Nate Flanders is exactly.
Or you could
His
just have
half-brother.
on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the other neighbor on the other side of The Simpsons? I could be that guy.
Or
And
behind
Ned could
him,
still
or
be
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I'd love
That's
to
what I
see you
would
with the Ned Flanders mustache. That
Or
would
any
be
mustache.
that would be hilarious.
Any facial hair would be like a legit miracle at this point. But thank you, Ryan. I appreciate.
Yeah, because
that.
you're the only one out of the 4 Dorksmen that doesn't have any facial hair. You
It's
probably are
impossible.
like one of those Chinese guys that if you have like one, you're like, I lucky today. I have one facial hair.
Whoa. This escalated quickly.
I don't know if I should be here.
What's the theme of this episode again?
Speaking of interventions, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it awkward. That's all. Ring the bell.
Hey,
Clint.
you did it. Ring the
You
bell.
did
you
it.
go.
Good job.
You did it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
of course, every week. I don't watch a lot of television. We talk about this week after week. So, how about we
Maybe you
do
should
like an
start.
animated series of SVU?
SVU, the animated series.
Yeah, there
I was
you go.
just about to say that.
Because
That'd be
other
so
than
good.
that, my default answers would have been Simpsons because I know it's still on TV,
Mhm.
or Family Guy because I know that's still on TV. But who I would play and all that jazz, I don't know.
Well, we joke about the SVU, the animated series, but Star Trek, Ed's favorite show, or one of his favorite shows, I guess, just came out
One
with
of
an
them.
animated series.
Oh, did
Lower Decks.
okay.
And you know what? You know what about that? I feel kind of bad. I've never seen Rick and Morty ever, but I'm willing to watch this new Lower Decks from the same people that make Rick and Morty.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the same people. I could tell it was like in a more, comedic type
I
of
guess
style.
it's the
but-
same writer and a producer or something along that lines. But see, I'm not well versed in Rick and Morty. But
You and I both, Ed. That's why
yeah,
I did terrible on that game.
Oh yeah, believe me, I listened and thought I have no idea what that answer
Yeah.
is.
That's great.
Good
Well,
times.
hey, we don't have to. We don't have
we
to
don't
ask
have to
Ed
ask the
answer.
person.
Yeah, we don't have to ask him to.
'Cause he's
answer his
here!
question, 'cause
Hey,
he
Yeah, I'm
answered
not
it.
sending my answer in. No. That's,
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I want you to
so
I
thank
want you to resend it. I want you to type it in and send it back to us. I'm
Ed
gonna
said
send this one right
Family
now.
Guy.
Ed said SVU.
SVU the animated series. Can you imagine how without that? Anyway.
Dun dun.
It'd have to be like a comedy or something to make it entertaining.
Right?
Anyway.
Yeah, that'd be a very serious cartoon. It'd be very weird.
Right? The victim was killed. Man, that's sad.
Yeah. That's
what would you want Stabler in it? You got to have Stabler.
You'd have to.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's parts. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
And definitely Ice-T. If you don't have Ice-T in it, just don't even make it.
Yeah.
An
I
animated
really want this show to
Okay,
happen.
you know what? I take that back. Seeing him as an animated character could be fun.
Well, what's funny about that is he voices one of the characters in the Borderlands 3 video game.
Yes.
It's
Oh, really?
it's like it's got transferred into like this little teddy bear like thing, and he's absolutely hilarious in
He's
it.
great. Yeah.
I can
But
picture
you
him
know what?
being
In the
funny.
SVU animated series, it'd have to be an animated Ice-T, but voiced by Ice Cube. I think would make it even better. Just to
Oh.
fully mess with everybody. You'd be like, you see Ice-T, but you hear Ice Cube.
And change the name to Vanilla Ice.
Oh,
All three.
There you go.
different
All
chocolate-
three
ice.
ices.
No, oh, there you go again.
There you go again.
Oh,
Oh.
Ryan made it awkward again.
Anyways, we love the Ask Dorksmen questions. Thank you, Ed, for always submitting questions, always playing along, answering. So we appreciate that. So everyone out there, please keep sending those questions in. We do love hearing them. We love hearing from you. We love seeing your answers. It's always a good time. So yeah, let's jump into this week's topics. We got our two special guests this week. They are big wrestling fans. So we want to bring them on and chat all things wrestling with, we've got some news in AEW recently. Zack Ryder, you might know him.
Matt Cardona. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't go by Zack Ryder anymore.
Well,
Yeah,
because
he goes,
WWE owns.
Yeah,
the rights
WWE
to
owns
that.
this.
Yeah.
rights to that. So now he's made his appearance on AEW recently. We've got SummerSlam around the corner. That's the extent of wrestling that I know in recent memory. So I'll let you guys jump on it. And what do you guys think of how wrestling is these days versus kind of what you guys grew up with? Is I think my first question.
Austin, you want to go first?
Well, I started watching early 2000s, maybe about 2005, 2006. Let me let you guys know I'm 22, so I didn't really have a choice but to start around that time. But yeah, I remember, sitting down and watching Jeff Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin for the IC title. And it was that old classic IC title belt, or well, not the classic one, but like the second version.
The oval.
Yes. And it was just amazing. I fell in love. I love the storytelling in movies and television shows, and I think that's why I love wrestling so much. And so just to continue to love that, I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary for sure. It's a great time with great fans you can talk to. Yeah, I'm loving AEW. I'm absolutely loving AEW actually.
I also love A&W.
And
Simmer down, dingus.
That IBC promotion can just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Real quick, that match you saw, was it a pay-per-view or was it just like a regular televised match? Or do you remember?
Monday Night Raw.
It was Monday, so it was wow. Okay,
USA
interesting.
Network. Yep.
Who won?
I believe it was Jeff Hardy. He was the champion. He retained. So, and then that Christmas, I got the same IC title belt. Like, of course, not. Yeah, the exact same one.
It was signed and everything.
Yes.
Shelton Benjamin didn't win the belt until 2004.
Oh my goodness. See, I had no clue about that.
Do you still have it?
It's probably stored away somewhere, but I wore that thing out. We had a trampoline in the backyard, and we had a little dog cage that went up about 2 feet higher than us, and me and my friend would get in there and just pretend like we were wrestling. I'm surprised we didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So.
That sounds fun.
I think that's something we all did growing up, pretending we were wrestlers and trying to pull off moves that hopefully wouldn't send our friend to the hospital.
I did it last week. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You and Ava.
Oh, Ava and I wrestle all the time. Yeah. Her finishing move is the jump on dad. So
Right.
Classic.
It works too. It's effective.
Classic finisher.
How about you, Ed?
What's the question? When did I first start watching wrestling?
Yeah, just kind of
what was-
like when you started and like kind of how you think it's evolved over the years.
Well, the first match I ever saw was Michael P.S. Hayes versus Lex Luger for the NWA title. That would have been 86. I think it was 1986.
Lex Luger. Haven't heard that name in a long time.
No,
Yeah. But no, I got hooked. I love the old, down south wrestling. I grew up in Florida, so everything to me, it was like real wrestling was the NWA and WCW, and WWE was kind of like they're I don't like them, but because it was where you grow up. It's about what you see and everything else. Eventually, I grew into liking WWE, and I was a big Ultimate Warrior fan. Always hated Hogan. Never
even when he was the American Dream.
Nope. I did like him when he was in NWO.
There you go.
I like, but yeah, no.
All right.
But yeah, nowadays though, I don't know, man.
We'll get to that.
WWE's
We'll
not
get to
the
that.
same.
No. Well, how can it be? I mean,
we will get into that.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's kind of when I got into it too, was in the 80s. I don't know how much difference there is between me and Ed, but it was probably about mid to late 80s, watching it with my dad a lot. It was one of the things he watched old John Wayne, World War II, and Westerns. That was, one of his things. And then the other thing was wrestling. So we used to always watch wrestling together, and, that was our thing to do. And then I had some cousins that I went and visited fairly frequently, and we used to watch together. So I go back to the days of, the Hulkster and Junkyard Dog and, all those.
So you're WWE
characters.
though, or WWF back then?
WWF back in that time. And I also watched Glow, is it Glorious Ladies of Wrestling? I'm trying to remember. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. So I watched some of that too. So the Netflix series that came out was pretty interesting, because that brought back some memories of watching that as well. So that's just kind of where I got my start, probably around the same time that Ed did, watching a lot of those things, and kind of teetered off around college, to be honest with you, kind of in the heyday of, so this would have been like early 2000s. So that'd been like, Goldberg, Stone Cold, The Rock, all their kind of big time before, especially before The Rock kind of split off into movie making. And then it just kind of teetered off from there. Like I had no interest after that. So by the time I was about Austin's age, I just kind of lost interest and just stopped watching.
The time I was Austin's age. I love that that's a thing on this podcast.
It is.
It is. It's appropriate. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's a thing. I remember this. Was it Saturday Night Live main events they used to have on NBC for WWF?
Yeah, Saturday night main event. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what I used to watch. And Macho Man Randy Savage has always been my favorite. And then of course the Slim Jim commercials and him as Bonesaw and Spider-Man, and he's always been a favorite of mine. I got into it about Bonesaw, right?
Forgot about that.
I got into it. Right, got into it about that time. Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan's one I remember when Kurt Hennig was Mr. Perfect.
Oh wow, yeah.
There was those guys. That's kind of what I remember when I first started. But and I was kind of the same course Joey is. We were friends of mine were in high school. We actually that was the time of the NWO, and we actually had 4 factions. We had the four horsemen, not the 4 Dorksmen. We have them now. We had the 4 horsemen, my friends, and another group of friends with the NWO. And I wanted to be in the NWO, and they always picked on me and didn't let me in. And they finally got me a shirt, and I was like, I'm so excited. And then they all got themselves Wolfpack red shirts and wouldn't let me in again. So I could get
red shirt.
But that's exactly how that happened. But so I was in the NWO old classic or whatever they called it by myself for a long time in that little high school faction, but whatever, it was high school. But same thing, kind of teetered off. I've been trying to keep up with it now because I know, I know Ed, and I know Austin, I know a few others that keep up with it. So I've tried. I haven't really watched much of it, but the story Austin brought up, I'm glad because it's definitely got a story to it. Some better, some worse, but there's definitely a story to it. So, but I was more into like WCW than I think I was WWE ever, to be honest. But it is what it is. So that's my story. I did go to one WWE event. We went to a Monday Night Nitro. I almost said Raw. It was a very,
very different things, pal.
Yeah, very busy. Yes, it was very busy though. It was the night when Goldberg beat Raven for the whatever the lower US championship title. Was it the U.S. title? Okay,
yep.
He would be the U.S. title back when he had that undefeated streak, and then Macho Man Randy Savage lost the World Heavyweight title to Hogan, and I was pissed about that, as you can imagine. But there you go.
That's awesome. How are you, Ryan?
I think I probably started watching around maybe age 6 or age 7, so that'd be 1988 or 89, so slightly after Ed. My dad was into wrestling from when he was younger, like probably as a teenager. They used to have like independent wrestling stuff out here in Hawaii, and so it kind of translated into not only myself watching, but I have 2 younger sisters. We're all 3 years apart, so we all used to end up watching together. I must have been maybe like 12, and then my sisters would have been 9 and 6, and we all used to watch together. One of the best memories I have is when they did come out to Hawaii once. I got to see the Ultimate Warrior perform, and I remember getting one of those IC belts. What we did with it, I have no idea because that was such a long time ago.
Super jealous.
I do remember being fairly disappointed though, because I was like, Mom, why is this foam? Because back in the day, it was actually like a foam belt and like plastic for the stuff. I'm like, this isn't an IC belt, and I got kind of upset about it. But I mean, it was cool that I actually got to see him out here,
Yeah.
And once in my mid-20s, I think it was mid to later 20s, they did come out again, and I got to go see them. I think at that time Orton came, Cena came, so it was like the WWE crew.
Nice.
Versus WWF crew, but it was an enjoyable experience getting to see these guys in person.
I never got to go to one, but Brian made me remember I actually did get a chance to run across and talk to a few of them. I used to work at the Hyatt in New Orleans, which was basically connected to the Superdome and the arena through some walkways. And so whenever they used to do events down there, they used to stay at the Hyatt. So I saw Ric Flair in the bar that we were there. He looks like a piece of beef jerky that's been put up. Good Lord, that man needs to stay out of the sun. So I saw him. I can't remember if it was Stevie Ray or Booker T, but one of them, I had to go up to their room, as we used to have these locks on the back of the TV where the coax cable went into, and he was trying to hook up his PlayStation. So I had to go with the little key thing that we have. So I went to his room to help him get his PlayStation hooked up. And then I rode in an elevator with Triple H. And
nice.
Who was he? I don't know if he's still married to her, but which wrestler was he married to around late 90s, early 2000s? I don't think it was China.
Well, he's married to Stephanie.
Yeah, he's married to Steph now.
Maybe that's who it was. I'm trying to remember, but it was him and his female companion.
And it would have definitely been Booker T, not Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray never worked WWE.
Okay, so I guess it was Booker T that
Spinneroonie.
that I met. Yep.
5-time. Yeah.
King Booker.
No.
What about you, Nathaniel?
So I started watching way back, the 80s as well. Grew up on like WWF. That was like my thing with like my cousins and stuff. So I grew up watching like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and like all those storylines. So going into it, I think my favorite wrestling times were definitely the Attitude Era. Just The Rock and everything. It was the cool thing back in high school and like around like with my age group of friends then. So I was really, really into it back then. I was fortunate enough to go to they had a Monday Night Raw out here in Vancouver. I was able to get tickets and I went out to watch that. It was hilarious because it was like Kid Rock was performing that night on Raw. So he did like a little mini show. Like it was wild. And then the thing that I remember most too about that was it was like a 6-man tag match, and I remember it was The Rock, and he was with The Undertaker and Kane, and I forget who he was fighting, but yeah, that was just like the craziest thing. There was not a title match or anything like that. It was just straight up 6-man tag. And the best part about like when the show ends is that I don't know if they do this at every show, but The Rock stayed behind and he did like a little monologue thing off the air. So he was off the air and he just went on for about 15 minutes in character. Like it was insane. Like it was like 20,000 people in the stadium that we hold up here. And it was just nonstop Rocky chants for like 15 minutes. And it was just the most insane thing. And I think that's part of what I love about wrestling is like Austin touched on was just the community of people. Like, the wrestling fans, like they don't care who you are and who you're cheering for, whatever. You're there to have a good time. And that's kind of one of the things that I remember the most about going to those and being part of that. But I think it just kind of dropped off for me after the kind of like the WWE changeover, and then like just started getting a little bit. I don't know how to describe it. It was just I just lost interest, really.
Same.
So yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I have to correct myself earlier. It was not Triple H that I rode the elevator with. It was Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP.
Well,
That's a little bit different.
Yeah, that changes everything. It could have been Stevie Ray then.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then I was like, oh, that was Diamond Dallas Page in the elevator.
You just knew there were initials involved, huh?
not 3 H's. It was DDP. Yeah.
Just a bunch of letters.
Nate, if I can tell you, there is actually a Blu-ray out there that WWE put out about 3 years ago of like 10 to 15 years at the end of Raw of like all the stuff that they would like The Rock going on after the show, and they put out a DVD of it to show what happened after Raw.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's worth seeing. It really is, like birthday parties for the wrestlers and stuff like that.
Nice.
If I may speak on that.
No, you can't. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
Get out of here, Austin.
You're just eye candy on this podcast, buddy. Come on.
Eye candy on a podcast.
I'm sorry. You can. Please proceed.
Yeah. It's like Clint's mom's always told him he's got a face for radio.
That's right.
Back in
Some days, at least.
2012, I believe it was February. I think it's after Valentine's Day. I don't know why I remember that. But Raw was held in Nashville, and we got lucky enough to get front row seats.
Oh, wow.
Behind the ring, like where the TV was facing you. And I remember that was a night where The Rock was back, after he returned to face John Cena at those 2 consecutive WrestleManias. And after the show, they have these dark matches. So like this is just an extra match that's not on TV, just for the fans to stay afterward and watch and enjoy. And the wrestlers usually have a little bit more fun during these. And so when John Cena came out, he was, got in the ring, and Mom's the one who carried me. He looked at us with the T-shirt that he took off and he threw it, but the guy behind us reached it between and snatched it. I was devastated the whole match. I couldn't even enjoy it.
Oh,
And it turns out one of the producers came over there and told me that he noticed that for some reason. And afterwards, he came around and he threw all his wristbands out except one. And he came around and he gave that to me and he got a picture with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's with like the official WWE cameras. So like on WWE's top 10 funniest photos, I'm the thumbnail with John Cena.
Hey, that's cool.
That's amazing.
We had a fat head of John Cena. And like it was his head, like literally his head. And so he put it in front of his face and did the whole like you can't see me in front of it. And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
So do you still have first of all, is there still a link for it?
There is, and I will find it and I will send it as soon
Please.
as
That's
an
awesome
and I
story.
still have the armband, of course.
That's amazing.
We want to. I want to see it, and we won't make fun of you. We just want to see it because it sounds hilarious.
Hey,
and you were 10.
Picture, yeah.
So,
Dude, I'm almost 40, and I would love to meet John Cena.
That would be amazing.
He's one of the nicest guys like ever. Apparently,
Doesn't he have like the record for the most Make-A-Wish
He does.
wishes granted?
Yeah.
So as much as
awesome.
people may talk poorly about him in wrestling and all that stuff, you got to give it to the guy that he does so much for the fans, and that's why for the longest time he was the poster boy, because he was just that larger than life character that a lot of these kids looked up to, and he's his mantra never give up.
I think it's just a matter of time before he breaks through in Hollywood too, because he's had a few roles and he is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
in the movies that I've seen him in.
He's supposed to be in the new Fast. He's supposed to be in the new Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
He's
I think he
had
plays
some
Dom's brother or something.
He's had some great characters already. I'm thinking of even not that the movie was great, that Sisters movie when he's with Tina Fey and the safe word is banana kind of thing.
That was good.
I mean,
And
he's got the personality for it. He's quick-witted. I think the only person really that's better than him at it all would be The Rock.
Yeah,
But as far as going toe-to-toe with him, he's pretty good at it. Although I got to say this, Austin, Cookie Puss, since you were talking about that time, I just had to blurt it out and say Cookie Puss.
I don't know what that means.
Ding the bell again for Ryan making it awkward. That's another one.
Are we talking
That's
about
what The Rock kept chanting to Cena. He's like, Cookie Puss.
I
Okay.
remember like
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you clarified because I was like, ice cream cake? I'm in, but all right. Wow. All right. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been a Dwayne The Rock Johnson and a John Cena movie where they're both in it.
Give it
Seems like a
time.
moneymaker.
Give it some time.
Seems like a moneymaker to me.
yeah, for sure.
They probably would
Very
be
cool.
both in the Fast and Furious movie, except
Well,
they had the falling out with the that's why The Rock did the split off movie with Jason Statham and stuff. So I think that's probably they're still in the same universe, but not exactly in the same movies.
Wasn't a lot of, this goes against everything wrestling talk, but wasn't a lot of that due to Tyrese? I've heard, because he's like, I've been in this since the very beginning for the most part, and then he gets a standalone movie. Why don't I get a standalone movie? But yeah.
Well, Tyrese, your career is not exactly flourishing in anything right now. So
I think Tyrese is hungry. If I remember correctly. He's hungry.
It's got the high metabolism.
I heard that John Cena is actually in Hobbs and Shaw, but you just can't see him. Sorry, guys. That was my.
That's good.
you're not sorry, and we're not either. That was good. That was good.
Well played, Austin.
So let's do this since let's get back on wrestling. I told you guys earlier, Macho Man Randy Savage is my favorite wrestler of all time, followed closely by The Undertaker. Who are your favorites?
Oh, I'm glad you said favorites, because choosing one is
Yeah.
really difficult.
I understand why. I would like to choose one if you could, but if you can't, I'm not going to hold you to it.
Probably in the era I grew up in, it's got to be the Hulk. Like that was just like the guy that I gravitated towards. It's the one I had to have the toys for when I was collecting wrestling toys and all that stuff. And then probably modern era probably would be. I actually wasn't that big of a fan of The Rock during that time frame. It was probably more Goldberg. I was probably a bigger Goldberg fan than The Rock is.
Well, The Rock was a bad guy when I first was exposed to WWE again for the first time. After ECW or not ECW, WCW, he was part of the Nation of Domination. Is that the group?
Nation of Domination. Yep.
And his arch rival was Ken Shamrock.
Oh, gosh, remember when Shamrock was in there?
Right.
Is that the MMA guy?
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ken
I knew
Shamrock.
he
And
was
yeah, I mean,
wrong.
it was just like you weren't supposed to like him because he was a heel turn then, but so I've
Mhm.
never like gotten over that in a sense. I mean, I love him in the movies, but as his character, The Rock, I'm like, eh. But he's gonna be the Boulder soon, the way the guy keeps getting bigger. So anyway, who else? Who else got a favorite?
It's a difficult question to answer.
I got an answer. I got an answer.
All right, good.
He's ready.
Number one all time favorite, Arn Anderson.
Mm,
Who's still
Number two,
he still
number
wrestles
two-
a little bit on AEW, right? Like he still do a DDT.
no. I mean,
Oh.
he don't actually wrestle. He's just a manager.
Cody's manager, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
But-
sorry.
Number two, CM Punk.
Mm.
Nice.
And number three, it's controversial. It's Chris Benoit.
Mm.
And
he was a good wrestler. He was a very good
he was
wrestler.
a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And I loved Eddie Guerrero. Those are my
Yes.
top four.
Mm.
Yes.
Those are
Good
good. I
choices,
mean,
good choices.
I can understand all four of those.
I love that you mentioned Arn Anderson, though.
Yeah,
Well,
it's classic.
Well, Ryan, you know you're part of the Crossface on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I named it, is because of Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I understood that one. It's just really sad how everything kind of just spiraled down with him. I mean, we won't go into
Yeah.
that and
Yeah.
get
No,
negative.
no. Let's not
Yeah.
get into that.
Let's remember the good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's remember that crossface he had. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Arn Anderson, just people who remind me of them, I was going to mention just like the older generation and the newer generation. I was going to mention FTR.
There you go.
Formerly the Revival on WWE. They had their best matches in WWE on NXT, which I could go on for days about old NXT. But FTR just reminds me of the old style of the Four Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson. And then I was going to mention, of course, Cena. I just grew up loving Cena.
With your situation, I would love Cena too.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, I love the shirts, the multicolored shirts for some reason. And I love Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Okay.
choice. Good
It's
choice.
character.
Heartbreak Kid. Yeah.
That charisma, you just can't match it.
See, I liked him when he was the Rockers too with Jannetty.
Marty
Jannetty,
Jannetty. Yep.
Yeah.
Although he did kind of screw Marty Jannetty.
He did.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Jannetty's screwing himself these days.
Yeah, he really is. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I saw what you posted, Ed, and
Yeah.
we won't go there, but yeah, that's
No, let's not go there either.
yeah, that's messed up, man.
Lots of wrestling territory that we just like.
Yeah, that's
We're
that's
just
messed up.
skirt
man.
around those.
I'm going to
subjects.
Google it while you guys are talking.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nate, you got some favorites there?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, hands down for me, it has to be The Rock. It was just his. It was mostly because of his on-air personality. So it was mostly just his mic skills and his ability to just how quick-witted he was, just how funny he was, how he wrote his own stuff, and just seeing his journey as well is just like, it's just awesome to go from basically a nobody in wrestling to kind of who he is and what he does these days. It's like it's a great story. And but just in terms of wrestling, he's got like one of the best finishers, I thought, like rock bottom, just amazing. People's elbow. It was just so much fun to watch him wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's really the reason why I have that belt behind me there. It's just the belt that I bought just because it was one of the last belts he held before he's officially retired. So I have that as just a piece in my collection, and it's just just a big part of my childhood and a big part of my enjoyment of wrestling. If I had to pick anybody else, got to stick with Attitude Era. Got to go with Stone Cold.
There you go.
When the music hits, it's just you got to get up and you're marching along and you're just super excited. So he was always fun to watch for me too.
All it
You
takes
know
is
what
that
also
1
always
second,
said.
right, Nate? The glass breaks and you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
glass
hyped.
breaks and you're just like you're hyped.
You're at
just
100.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
Like you always said, when you hear the glass, it means your ass.
Yep.
Uh,
Ryan, did you say yours or did I miss it?
I did not, because I'm trying to
Okay.
think here, and I'm glad that you guys all had a chance to speak, because it put things in my mind. I'm just like, dang, I didn't think about including folks like Arn Anderson, so I'm really glad that Ed brought him up, because if it wasn't for guys like him, wrestling would not be what it is today. To be frank about it. So I do want to mention, though, to kind of piggyback off of what Nate said, being that The Rock is a Hawaii born and bred guy. It's crazy to think that he graduated from McKinley High School. A lot of people know his story that he literally had $7 in his pocket at one point. And now to be the highest paid actor in Hollywood, it just really goes to show you, if you really put your heart and your soul into something, you can achieve great things. So, for anybody that's listening, if there's something that you're striving to work toward, work hard at it. Do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't. And never give up. Dude.
All right, very good.
Take a page out of Cena's book there. But if I had to choose one person that hasn't been chosen yet, I would say Mankind.
Oh, I do love some Mick Foley. Yeah.
We definitely need to mention him in all of this, because that guy has given everything for this sport. Like everything. He got thrown off a cage. I mean, sorry, not a cage. He got thrown off Hell in a Cell. And for anybody that thinks wrestling is fake, go watch the original Hell in a Cell match. He got thrown off the cage. He got thrown through it onto tacks. Yeah.
Which wasn't supposed to happen.
He's been in barbed wire. Well, but let's be frank, though. When he did FMW and ECW stuff and all the really hardcore stuff, they had barbed wire matches. That shit is real. Baseball wrapped in barbed wire. Him, Terry Funk, Sabu, and all those crazy motherfuckers. Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Those, yes. RVD. As Austin does all that stuff. Saturn. I was very much into ECW.
You can't leave out Necro Butcher.
Yeah.
You gotta bring in... Wow. Have you ever seen the movie The Wrestler?
That guy was a crazy son of a bitch. Masato Tanaka, he never got the shine he deserved. He had scars all over his body as like war trophies.
So okay, excellent. I'm glad you. I don't want to lose the momentum with that. So I know that we had our pre-party and we brought up, is wrestling real? Or is it really a sport? And I think Ryan, at least in my opinion, I'm sure you guys all actually agree, nailed it on the head. These guys, it might be a story, and I haven't saw somebody in the chat say it's a a soap opera for people that don't know they like soap operas.
Yeah.
I get that, but are the athletes 100%?
Is it? Well, that's two different questions. It's are they athletic? Yes, I don't think anybody argues. Is it real? Like, do they get hurt? Yes, I don't think anybody argues with that. The question though that I posed in the pre-party was, is it a sport? That's a different question. Because is it a sport if the winner is already predetermined?
If I may, if it can't technically be considered a sport just due to regulations. If they were to consider it a sport, and I mean, it would change so much by state to state. They would have to regulate it differently. They'd have to pay the performers differently and everything else. I think honestly, that is the answer unto itself. To say that they are athletes, definitely they are athletes, but I don't think that we could ever really consider it a sport.
Yeah, I bring that up because there are people that are literally professional wrestlers, like
Greco-Roman
we see it as Olympic wrestling and stuff. And
Kurt Angle before he was in WWE,
which is what Kurt Angle was, right? But yeah, those people will argue with you that no, it's not a sport because again, it's predetermined who the winner is going to be. There's really no decision being made. But yeah, I don't argue that these guys are extremely athletic and can do stuff that I could only dream of doing in my most fit days, and, are they really getting hurt? Well, yes, of course they're really getting hurt. That's not ketchup packets and blood pills that they're cracking when you see blood on them. So, I definitely give them respect for those things. And it takes a lot to me. It's almost more difficult what they do than if they were just going to be Greco-Roman wrestling because of everything that they have to remember, whether it's their lines or their moves and, what I'm doing here and trying not to hurt themselves as badly as they could possibly be hurt. So I definitely give them respect for all that they pull off to, entertain the masses, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. I really I kind of think of it like a dance. It's like seriously, you have steps you have to make to make sure the other person is safe while you're doing your thing. And so, when I first started dating my girlfriend, shout out to Abby. Hey, Abby.
Abby.
Cheap pop.
That's my personal bell right there. But anyway, she was just kind of confused about like why I still watched it, which is understandable, like from a point of view of somebody who really didn't hear anything about it or watched it growing up. But at the same time, we're watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and I'm like, each week we know that's predetermined, guys.
Yes.
And so I kind of think of it in that way, like it's
What was her response when you said that?
oh, she gets it 100%. She supports it.
Okay.
Cool.
Just curious.
You're
It's
a
like,
lucky
no,
man.
it's not.
Yeah.
I sure
it's
am.
real. Going on these exotic dates in the exotic places, they're real. Excellent.
So I'm going to take a page out of Ryan's technical book here, and I Googled the specific definition of sport as defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which is the utmost authority on English. So sport is a noun. It is in the English language, and the definition is a contest or game in which people do certain physical activities according to a specific set of rules and compete against each other. Based on that, I have to say wrestling is a sport.
It's probably has to do with the term compete.
Because
if
that's
it's
exactly what I was talking about.
If
Yeah.
it's
But,
if
I mean,
it's
they are-
predetermined.
It's not a competition if it's predetermined who's going to
Right.
win.
I mean, you could tell that to like people that fix horse races or people that fix baseball games and soccer.
Well, that's
games.
illegal. It's wrong.
It's still a sport. It's still
Illegal.
defined as a sport, even though
Oh,
those
man.
are fixed. Boxing's a sport that's been fixed for years and years.
It's nice to know I'm not the one making it weird right now.
We'll
Thank you,
agree
Nate.
to disagree with your
But,
incorrect
I mean,
statement.
Besides that, personally, I do think wrestling is a sport, just in terms of athleticism and basing it on those criteria for me of what makes it a sport. It's not a pastime. Like I find, like I would feel like, I mean, bowling is classified as a sport, but that's more of a pastime to me. But
Well,
like
I mean,
Video
If-
games is the one
If
I'm
we're
talking
gonna
about.
if we're gonna say it's a sport, and I don't
Right.
mean this in any kind of derogatory way, I'd put it somewhere along the lines of figure skating, because it's just choreographed movements, and there's
if you're breaking it down technically, right?
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that's the only way that I
kind of
could
get
see
it.
as
I kind of
a-
get it.
as a
Yeah.
sport if we
I
put it
kinda
against
get that.
something like that, or
Put it
I-
in
and
the middle of the ice.
Shout out to figure skaters. That's not hard. That's not easy. I can't even skate backwards. So that's fair.
I think one of my
Um,
favorite things when it comes to wrestling, though, is even though knowing it's fake, knowing, it's predetermined, whatever you want to say, I like the history. I like
Sure.
looking
Oh yeah.
back. And, we know that Ric Flair was a 16-time champion. And, and so is Cena, but it's like, I like the history of it. I like looking
Sure.
like I love the network. Each of you have talked about shows, Raw you've been to or such. Go back on the network. I bet you're on there somewhere. I mean,
Mhm.
I know I'm on the network. I'm on a pay-per-view. And
That's
Oh, nice.
awesome.
and that's I like that history, knowing that I'm part of that history.
Absolutely.
And
Well, listen to everything we've talked about tonight. Like you said, we've all talked about classic matches or classic wrestlers that we won over. We're not talking about, we haven't even talked about, AEW or where the WWE goes or anything like that. All we've talked about is what we've loved about it in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
yeah. All that
this
being
was the
said,
beginning.
all that being said, you can't take away from the entertainment value that it provides. I
Oh,
mean,
I agree.
that's something I don't think any of us, would argue about as far as how entertaining it is to watch, whether it's live or whether it's on TV. It still does that, even though, once you finally reach that point where you're like, oh, this is fake.
Mhm.
As far as it's predetermined fake, I don't want to say they're not getting hurt fake or not athletic fake,
Right.
but it's predetermined. Once you even reach that point, it's still entertainment.
Right.
Like they said earlier, it's like, soap opera for people who don't realize they like soap operas.
Right. I have to laugh. This is going to be a downer for a second. I'll bring it back though. Last week tonight, which I do talk about sometimes, did a whole section on WWE, and
That was a good one.
It was a good one, and it talked about basically, and I agree with this, they need to treat the employees, the wrestlers, better. But what's funny about it is, John Oliver's like, they do this, this, and this, but then they do this, and they show a clip of, Vince McMahon in a hospital gurney getting the shit beat out of him by Stone Cold. He's like, were you not entertained?
Kind of thing. I remember that. I remember that.
He's like, were you not entertained? How can you not say this is entertaining? Kind of thing. So,
or when they shaved Vince's head.
Oh yeah, I mean, or when they stuck it in what's his name's ass and all the, they do entertaining things.
Rikishi,
Rikishi, that's his name.
Rikishi.
Oh yeah,
Rikishi.
Okay.
Rikishi.
But see, and then back to Ed's point, these are all memories and fun things. I mean, they might be completely absurd and insane, but they're things we remember, talk about, and even laugh about.
Oh, gosh, I remember watching Stone Cold drive to the ring in the Zamboni. Remember that?
Yeah, right. Or the beer truck and then
truck angled like so truck. Over the top. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? But it was awesome.
Well, I mean, like, think about no, go ahead, Joey.
I was just gonna say I loved all that outside of the ring theatrics that went
right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you go back. So I've been going back to keep up with this to read like the SmackDown, Raw, AEW, NXT results, just to kind of keep up with it. But they don't actually talk about like the promos they shoot or what happens in between. You can go and watch the videos, but they don't talk about it as results, and that's half the entertainment for sure. Mm-hmm. It's just them going back and forth. Yeah, it's there's value in that in a sense. So it's hard to argue that for sure.
So one of those things you're saying about like the outside of the ring stuff, like wrestling is fake when they have a casket match and they're like buried alive. Like they're not gonna kill this man for a wrestling show, but you believed it. Like you felt like it was gonna happen. And it's like, is he gonna die? Like, no, he's not gonna die. They're not gonna kill a man on pay-per-view. Like, it's just not a thing. To watch a man die. Yeah. And you'd be disappointed. Be like, I paid to watch this man get actually buried alive, and he's not dead. What the hell? So
if you're that person, you need to get other kind of help and not watch wrestling anymore.
Exactly.
Wow.
That was
Who
so
would have
much
thought
fun.
that was what would bring Angry Nate out?
Right.
The oddest things set me off, and it's just it happens.
You can call him a bitch to his face all he wants, but then you bring up that, and he's all about it.
Yeah, you bring up lack of death in a wrestling match.
Okay, so noted. Do not bring up casket match to Nate. Noted.
I'm going to try to get you a casket to put that WWE title in back behind you there, Nate.
Yes.
I feel like I should have brought my belt out here. I should have.
You definitely should have.
I didn't.
It's all good. I need to get one.
I'd be remiss. By the way, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, after you. Nope.
I'll be remiss if we also don't mention other folks like Edge.
Oh yeah.
Because like for everything he's done for the sport too, and like I don't agree it was his best move to come back right now, especially after having a surgically repaired neck and all of that.
Yeah.
But man,
that's the passion though.
Yeah, it does. He's always had passion for it. CM Punk, who Ed brought up earlier, he had so much passion that he just broke. Yeah. And he snapped, and that's why he's no longer part of wrestling.
Shit myself on SmackDown. LOL. It's on that tweet.
But as we talk about all these different people, it's like this memory pops up of this person doing that. And when you folks were talking about the things that happened outside the ring, when Edge got thrown into the Long Island Sound, I think it was on Raw. That's the kind of stuff, and that's why I thought of Edge. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's just been way too many things that have come up. All good.
So I want to make. I know we're running short on time, but I really want to bring up the fact that women wrestling has really caught on, and I think that's just really cool. I think really cool. The fact that even last year, but the year before, WrestleMania was headlined by 3 women. Excuse me. Is pretty badass, and it's nice. Like I always hated it actually when they did like bra and panty matches. I'm like, oh yay, they're getting naked. But I mean, you'd watch it and you're like, this is dumb. Like you guys are just kind of slapping each other. Like, this is like.
They've definitely
insulting us.
Yeah, they've definitely done better with transitioning less away from the theatric aspect of it to the actual wrestling and watching that part of it, not just screaming back and forth at each other or fighting and fussing and all that kind of stuff. But actually getting into wrestling, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. There's not a single one of them that I would even mess with. Even Alexa Bliss, who's only 5 foot tall, I would not mess around.
Today's her birthday.
Is it really?
Hey, well,
Oh, that's awesome.
happy birthday, Alexa. We dedicate this episode to you because we know you're a listener. You know,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
along with Barack Obama.
Obama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barack Obama.
And Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And Brian Mariotti.
yeah, we and basically, if you're famous, you listen to this podcast.
Friends of the show.
You're all our listens. Yes.
Friends of the show.
But I mean, I have to give a shout out to them. It is like Ed said, they were just stringing us along and kind of insulting us, and now they've actually like let them do their thing, and it's entertaining, and it's actually doing a better job, I think, than the men are, at least in the story aspect, and they can beat each other up pretty well too. So
Yeah, let's be real. Becky Lynch, she's a good wrestler.
Oh yeah, she's
a very good wrestler.
I
She
would
is
not.
missed.
Yeah,
Oscar
I
is
would-
amazing. Yeah.
right. But I mean, even Charlotte Flair, who would give raised in that area, even though she annoys drives me nuts, and I feel like she's given a lot because of her name, is a good wrestler. You know, she can actually do it. It's not just anyway. But anyway, I just want to make sure to say,
If you take your dad's move and you modify it, then yeah, hands off. She did something with it.
right. Oh, again, I mean, she did work her way up, NXT and all that jazz, and I'll definitely give her credit for that. It's just she's one I don't like, but that's part of the appeal. I mean, that's the thing with villains. I mean, what is it? Is it Baron Corbin? Is that his name? Corbin?
Baron Corbin.
Like he's like the classic heel. Like you fucking hate him, but he's there and he does his job. You know what I mean?
I call him Barry Corbin.
Barry Corbin.
Barry Corbin. I hate that guy so much. When he used to come out, Jessica loves his entrance music, so I would make fun of it, and I had like alternate lyrics for his entrance music that she hates it. She hates it. So,
That's funny.
but
It's perfect.
Well, it sounds
But,
like it sounds like we could go on to for this forever, and that's maybe we'll have a part 2 of this because this is enjoyable and brought it back memories, and I have other thoughts, so we have to bring this up, but we have to round this up because I believe it's a certain time.
It's game time.
Oh man, you should have said it's time to play the game.
Oh. Yeah,
Austin, I don't want you to say another word unless it's funny because you're nailing it right now.
Yeah,
I'm burying you guys. Sorry. Another wrestling
it's
term.
okay.
No, there was a time to do
It's
it.
perfect.
This was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week's game is called Tag Team Back Again. So in honor of our wrestling-themed episode, in the trivia game, you will be paired off as wrestling tag teams. We have our guests, Ed and Austin, who are the Buckeye Bama Express. And then we have our resident Dorksmen, Nate and Ryan, who are the Hot Dogs. And you can thank Nate for that one. He picked that one while you were gone, Ryan.
Oh boy,
Oh, man.
we're so screwed.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
so screwed.
I'm going to ask alternating trivia questions to the pairs, to the tag team groups. If you can answer the wrestling trivia question, you get 10 points. If you get it wrong, though, your opponent gets the 10 points. If you don't know the answer, you can choose to tag your teammate in. So the point value on the question does get cut in half to 5, and the question is also switched out. So you will get a totally different question that you will have to answer. If at any point you decline to answer the question, whether it's the first question or the second question for your team, the other team can steal and earn double the point value if they get it correct. There is no penalty for guessing if you're trying to steal the answer. Okay. It just, if you get it wrong, just nobody gets any points for that one. The highest points after 28 rounds wins. You will continue answering questions for your team until you are tagged in by your partner, but we will again alternate teams each round. Okay. And the lovely ring girl Clint is going to be keeping score for us.
I'm holding my round 1 right now.
Wearing
My
right now,
bikini.
Brett. Oh my
ding,
goodness.
ding, ding.
That's sexy. All right.
That's right.
So we are kicking off with the Buckeye Bama Express, or I'm just going to call y'all BBE for short. So
What's up, brother?
y'all are first. We're going to let Ed go first. Okay. So your question is, when a wrestler attempts to win a match by pinfall, the referee will start from 1 and count up to what number to indicate a victory?
3.
3 is correct. They're going to get harder as we go on.
I hope so. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
And shout out to the Reddit user Constable Neela, because most of these questions I got from a thread that they started on the Wrestling Talk subreddit. So
Nice.
Also, this was almost a year ago, so if any of these are incorrect, Ed, please let me know, because you would be the one to probably know if they're inaccurate now.
It was 4,
All
not 3.
They increased it to 7.
Yep. Okay, so over to Team Hot Dog. Nate, we'll start off with you just because your name's listed first here on my paper. The longest undefeated streak at WrestleMania is held by which wrestler?
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker is correct. Very good. Okay, so Ed, we're back to you. What is the term you? I'm sorry. You had a question?
So what's up?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh. What is the term used when a wrestler grabs the ring ropes in an attempt to break a submission hold?
Rope break.
Rope break is correct. Very good.
Wow. Well, good job.
Okay, we're back over to Nate. Which famous WWE wrestler is best known for drinking beer before his match?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is correct. Very good.
That
Sorry,
felt
dude.
rigged. That felt like a rigged answer. Thank you. I appreciate
All
it.
right, back to Ed. The slam heard round the world took place at which WrestleMania when the 500-pound Andre the Giant was body slammed by Hulk Hogan?
WrestleMania 3.
That is correct. WrestleMania 3.
Damn.
Did you know that, Austin?
I would have guessed one of the first 3.
Okay. Just curious.
All right, back to you, Nate. What prize offers a WWE superstar a championship opportunity anytime, anywhere within 365 days?
Is it the Money in the Bank?
I need the whole title.
Oh.
Oh, I see where he's going with this.
You might need a tag.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna tag Ryan in.
Okay, Ryan. And the correct answer was Money in the Bank briefcase, I believe was the correct whole answer. All right, so you get a new question, Ryan.
Okay.
The 4 horsemen were comprised of Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and who?
Oh, crap.
Well,
The funny thing is, Ed said his name earlier. I don't remember either, but you did say it earlier in the episode, right,
He
Ed?
did, and I'm drawing a blank right
I
now.
don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh, Ed's
Ed's played
competitive
this game
spirit
before.
coming out.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
And
Is
while
this
I'm,
game a sport?
while I'm thinking about this, Joey, I would beg to differ with
We're
the
competing, and there's
answer
no
for the one that
predetermined answer.
Nate
Or winner.
passed on. I would say Money in the Bank contract instead of briefcase, because the briefcase holds the
That's what I would have
contract.
said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I was thinking ladder match.
No, I was thinking that's probably where he was going with the full answer. So just FYI.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm
Okay.
gonna pass because I'm drawing a blank.
Ed or Austin, can y'all steal?
It's Arn Anderson.
He said Arn Anderson.
Yeah, he said.
I mentioned Arn Anderson. So
No, you
nobody-
said
Arn.
Ole.
No, he said
I
both.
said
He said
Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and the fourth one.
Yeah.
Oh,
is the
Barry
one I was-
Windham.
I've got Tully Blanchard.
See, that's a loaded question. There's so many versions of it.
You got a point there.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I would say give him the
Can-
points. But that's
At least
just me.
half points.
Yeah.
So how many
Well,
points do I
technically,
give
he
you?
named off somebody that I had already named, though, in the question.
Well,
So
no,
I
he
got it
didn't
wrong.
have-
It's true.
I got it wrong. No, I got it wrong.
So, but nobody loses any points. Just look at it that way. Nobody loses any points.
So to
right.
clarify the rules, just to make sure I understand, we're 6 rounds in, and we've had one switch. So right now, Austin and Ed have 30 points. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nate and Ryan have 20.
You're the scorekeeper, so I'm not sure. I'm going to defer to you.
Well, that's
Sounds
why I'm
good
asking.
to
They
me.
didn't lose any points, or did they
Yeah,
lose points
yeah.
for getting that one wrong?
No, because it
Ryan,
was a steal.
right, it was a steal.
So no
Ryan
points
just
lost.
said he didn't know. Correct. Yes,
That's
he has
what
to
I'm
actually
asking.
say this is the answer
Oh,
that's
okay.
wrong. And I'm going to let Nate slide on the other one. because he asked for clarification and he didn't know it. So I'm not going to say take off points for that.
Okay.
And then Ed doesn't lose points either because you don't lose points for trying to steal. But it is to Ed. But it is back to Ed and Austin. Okay.
And you're 30 points, guys.
All right. Here we go. And I guess this is one of those word association things or something. I don't know. So y'all probably know better than I do. Which of the following doesn't belong? WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or SmackDown?
Well, I know the answer. Austin, I was going to tag you in, but I'm going to go for it so we get the points.
Go for it.
It's SmackDown.
Yes, correct. I'm assuming it's associated with a specific wrestling association.
No, they're
it's
pay-per-views versus
pay-per-views.
weekly shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
SmackDown is
There
a
you go.
weekly.
That's why I'm glad I'm the one doing the trivia, not answering the trivia.
The Rock's never said the other words. He's just only said SmackDown.
Can I tag Austin in now so he gets a question?
Sure, there you go. You can
Tagging you in.
All right, Nate, do you want to tag Ryan in for some?
I've already been tagged in.
Yeah, Ryan's active right now.
Okay, so it's back to Nate. Okay, what does...
No. Hold on.
It's on
It's
Ryan,
back
right?
to Ryan.
Back to our team. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Ryan was
Yeah,
tagged.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. What does TLC stand for?
Tables, ladders, chairs.
Very
I thought it
good.
was Learning Channel.
I thought it was the music group.
Thought it was Tender Loving Care. Oh, you're going with the music group.
The music group.
Don't
All
go
right.
chasing waterfalls.
There we go.
This isn't a music thing, Nate, so.
Thank you, Ed, for continuing that. Creep. Anyway.
All right. Austin, are you ready? You've been tagged in.
I'm ready.
Which women's wrestler holds the record for the longest WWE/WWF Women's Championship reign at just over 28 years?
I know the answer.
I can
You can tag Ed back in, but remember the question changes.
Does this question come back up in the rotation then?
No.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so it's just gone.
God, I can picture. I got it.
Can Austin climb over to my corner and I can whisper it in his ear?
No, unfortunately not.
Like when the ref turns his back and the other person comes,
Joey, look over there.
Joey, look that way.
Yeah, hang you over the ropes.
I don't want to get it wrong, and I trust Ed with the wrestling questions, so I'm going to tag Ed in.
Okay, and so
Can I try answering?
Sure, Clint.
Was it Daisy May? Is that her name?
Nope.
I
Ed
Something
know
knows.
the
May,
answer.
You can say it. It doesn't count, but you can say it to let us know.
It's Moolah.
Yeah, fabulous
Correct.
Moolah.
Yes.
that's
Too
right.
bad I didn't get that question. I would have got it right.
All right. Your question for 5 points now. Shawn Michaels is famous for tuning up the band with what finishing move?
Oh, come on.
The sweet chin music.
That is correct. All right. We're back to, did Ryan tag Nate in, or is it Ryan's turn?
Ryan's
It's
going.
Ryan's turn. Okay. Give me the nickname for one of Dusty Rhodes' sons.
Goldust.
Goldust is correct. Very good.
What's the other one?
American
Stardust, I
Nightmare.
believe.
Yeah.
Oh, Stardust.
Stardust.
That
The
was a
American
bad
Nightmare.
character thing for
The American
Cody.
Nightmare, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a better one. I like that better.
Yeah, the American Nightmare.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back to Ed. Who is the owner of the WCW?
Ted Turner.
See, that's what I thought too, and then this question's got a different answer.
Whatever
It's
they're
not Eric
saying is
Bischoff.
wrong then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's Eric Bischoff, that's wrong.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff that's what I thought, but
Yeah, that's what
pretty
they
sure
had.
it's
down.
Ted
Yeah.
Turner.
Because
he
now
had
that I'm
more.
reading it, I'm realizing that it should have been Ted Turner.
Yeah.
He's
So
like the
give him-
commissioner. Yeah.
Yeah, he
he's-
would. That's
yeah.
exactly what his title was.
He was just a figurehead on TV.
Yeah.
Was he ever a writer? He's a writer too, right?
I think he's a
I think
writer.
so. Executive producer. He did a lot of stuff.
Either way.
Either way, not Ted Turner.
Yeah. Right? Ted Turner's wrong.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It is.
He owned the
absolutely
network,
Ted Turner.
right?
Yeah.
So
I know I'm right. I'm
I'll agree 100%, Ed. You are
Yeah,
right there.
absolutely.
I
think
agree.
he's
Ed will
right
throw the referee out of the ring on that answer.
Like, what was this girl's name on Reddit again? Because I'm going after her.
I don't know if it was a girl. I don't remember what the name was. I'd have to scroll all the way back up. All right,
Wow.
so we are back to Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan. All right, the Rated R Superstar and the Ultimate Opportunist are both nods to what former WWE champion?
Edge.
Edge is correct. Very good.
You think you know me?
him?
You guys are nerds.
Perfect time.
On this day,
Yeah.
I see clearly.
So after
All right.
6 rounds, we are at Austin and Ed. You guys have 55 points, while Nate and Ryan have 50 points.
Okay,
Ooh.
and that's 6 rounds apiece, right? So we're at so
Yes.
so this is round 13. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Ed. The Walls of Jericho is what Chris Jericho refers to his signature submission hold, more wildly known as this.
Boston Crab.
The Boston Crab is correct. Very good. Ryan.
Austin, I wasn't kidding about that eye candy comment, man.
Just sit there and look pretty, Austin.
Give him bonus points for looking pretty.
Ryan.
Yes.
You dance and get the audience going.
There you go.
Yeah.
Name the trio that comprises the Shield.
Roman Reigns.
Okay.
I'm thinking of his real name now. What's his in-ring name?
He's probably going to give you a different name that's written down there because he has a different name now.
No, I'm thinking of.
Oh, you know his real name, like his
Yeah.
actual.
Damn it.
No.
Not Kobe. What the hell is his in-ring name? God damn it. Rollins. Seth Rollins.
Okay.
And
You down.
what's the idiot's name?
Oh, that whittles it down.
No, I'm thinking because now he's in AEW and that's not his name that he was in the WWE.
Joey, can he give you the AEW name that he uses now?
That wouldn't count.
as-
Though. I would say no because that doesn't really count.
Come on, we're trying to win here, Ryan.
Hey, shut your mouth, man.
I
You're
know.
not helping.
Like, I don't want him. Because I do know his AEW name, but I do not remember his WWE character. Okay, Ed, we get it. You
Painful.
got
This
it.
is painful. This is really
Like
painful
Ed
because I should
knows.
know this.
This hurts Ed more than any of us.
I know. I'm
'cause
sorry,
Ed's-
Ed.
You're gonna have to tag in Nate.
Yeah, tag.
Who was it, Ed?
Dean Ambrose.
There you go.
Dane Ambrose.
He wanted
I
to
would have
say
gone
no,
on
he's
that.
so bad.
Yeah.
Here's your 5-point question, Nate.
Yeah.
Out of Eddie Guerrero, Kevin Nash, Randy Savage, and Bam Bam Bigelow, who is the tallest?
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash is correct.
Big
That's
Daddy
a
Cool.
5-pointer. All right,
Diesel.
Ed, we're back to you unless you want to tag Austin in to
I'm
start.
going to tag Austin in.
Excellent. All right, pretty boy, here we go.
Pretty Boy Keel.
Sexy boy.
Oh, excuse me. Sexy boy.
How
You guys
many,
should have seen the dance.
how many pods are there in the Elimination Chamber match?
Ooh.
4.
4 is correct. Very good.
He paused so long I had to rethink.
Yeah,
it.
you're like, wait a
I
second.
know. When he
was
paused, I'm
waiting.
like, wait, is it? Is it
Did you
6?
do the
No,
math?
no, no.
Yeah, I
it's
thought it was
not.
6. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
There's
it's
a few
4.
people start in the ring and then the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's 6 total. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go to Nate.
All right.
The Nexus was a faction derived from the members of what developmental brand?
Can hear the crickets.
Yeah.
Don't let me down.
Chirp, chirp.
Wait. Is the Venom? Is it okay? Never mind. I won't say anything. Never
You
mind.
either have to tag in or
Or you
something.
can decline. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
going to say
decline-
Ryan. I truly have no idea.
Is it NXT?
Yeah, it's NXT.
it is an XT.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's your tagged in 5-point question, Ryan.
Okay.
The Honky Tonk Man holds the record for the longest title reign for which championship?
Intercontinental.
Very
There you
good.
go.
Intercontinental Championship.
Golly.
All right. So we are back to Pretty Boy Keel. I'm not saying your other name.
Boy Toy Keel.
Yeah.
Just going along with the song. That's all.
Changing my username right now.
Where's the shout out to his girlfriend on that one, huh?
Oh.
Who is the only superstar to win 3 Royal Rumbles?
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
Oh.
I don't want to say it wrong.
I'm gonna use telepathy.
Is it working? Oh, I got it.
I don't know.
I know it now. Thanks, Ed.
Damn, wrong person.
And how many points do you lose? You just lose.
If you guess and get it incorrectly, then the other team gets double that, so they get 20 points. So this would be a swing, I think, in their direction to put them in the lead.
But what do they lose any points? They don't lose any.
No,
right?
you don't lose any. They just,
Okay.
I mean, mathematically, it's basically the same. But
Right. But I just for scorekeeping purposes.
yes, correct. Very good. Yes.
I'm a guessing guy, so this isn't fun right here. You know, I'm gonna tag in Ed because I don't want to be wrong and I don't want to lose points. But I want
What
to.
would your guess have been?
It would have been Stone Cold.
And it would have been correct.
Oh,
All right.
Better to be safe,
Here we
though,
go.
Austin.
Yeah, better
Stone
safe than
Cold.
sorry.
Ed, your 5-point question. Brock Lesnar is known for repeating one wrestling move over and over again, commonly referred to as what?
Are we going with nowadays? Suplex.
Yes, very good.
You
exactly
meant
correct.
German suplex? You didn't want to be racist or what?
I mean, that's a technical term for it.
Initially, I kind of thought F5 at first, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
thinking
was gonna
nowadays.
say.
Yeah.
Suplex
Suplex City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Suplex City.
Who are we at? Are we at Ryan or Nate? Who got tagged?
We're on
in?
Ryan.
You got
Yeah,
Ryan.
it's on me.
Ryan. The Montreal Screwjob involved Vince McMahon forcibly fixing a match in order to strip who of their championship?
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Very good. Exactly correct.
Canadian legend, Bret
Yeah.
Hart.
Good thing you didn't get that question, right? Or Nate, you might
Yeah, I would have said Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling, and then I would have really fucked it up.
Ryan Gosling.
All right, so we're back to Ed.
Mhm.
Name 3 of Mick Foley's alter egos.
Dude Love, Mankind. I guess Mick Foley.
Alter egos, so something besides Mick Foley. So you got to give me one more.
Cactus
Or you-
Jack.
Cactus Jack. Very good. Exactly correct.
Trying to think if there was any others.
I remember the Rumble.
Well, there
back
was
at the end, like,
Yeah, that one Rumble he came out 4 times. And
Yeah.
that's,
he did. Yeah.
All right, back
Bang, bang.
to Ryan. Kurt Angle won an Olympic gold medal with a broken what?
Neck.
Neck. Very good. Exactly correct.
Freaking Nick. That's
it was a freaking neck. Broken freaking neck.
Not a neck, just a freaking neck.
The
So
freaking neck. Yeah.
real
Get it
quick,
right.
we've had 10 on each side now. And
Okay.
we have I have Austin and Ed at 90, and I believe I have Nate and Ryan at 80.
Okay, here we go. Back to
Me.
Ryan. Oh, Ryan just answered.
No.
That's right. Wait, who did just answer? Yeah, Ryan just answered.
Ryan, yeah,
Ryan.
you're on it, yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody
okay.
corrected you because you were right.
So 3D is the famed tag team finisher where their opponent is planted through a table, invented by which hardcore tag team?
The Dudley Boys.
The
There it
Dudley
is.
Boys is correct.
Testify.
Back to
Thanks,
Ryan. What does NJPW stand for?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Very good, exactly correct.
Oh,
And
I did not know that.
I could not have timed
We were
that.
just talking about them
Yeah.
last night.
Totally rigged.
Yep.
That was rigged.
Frickin'
Ed,
rigged.
did you know that?
Freaking rigged.
Yeah. My wife and I were actually just talking about New Japan last night.
Oh, nice.
Jim Ross
Ed,
actually
good
does voiceover stuff for them now.
Wait,
Yeah.
like Ross as in David Schwimmer?
Jim Ross.
No, Jim
Oh,
Ross.
Jim,
Jim
Ross.
Ross.
I was like, wait, what? Gotcha.
Ross
That makes much
Taylor.
more sense.
We were on a break.
He's sitting there doing this.
Break.
Sorry, go on.
Ed, back to you.
Okay.
Who is the only Hall of Fame NFL player to compete in the main event of WrestleMania?
Wow. That's Lawrence Taylor.
Very good, exactly correct.
Nice.
I had no clue on that one.
Yep, that was a good one. Ed.
Again, couldn't rig this if I wanted to. Back to you, Brian. Which Japanese wrestler went to WWE in 2015 and became the NXT Women's Champion, sparking the promotion's longest undefeated streak in the modern era?
What's her name? Asuka.
That is correct.
I guess that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I was
ASUKA.
wrong. Yeah,
I thought
It looks like
Asuka.
How you said
Asuka.
it.
I thought it
Yeah.
was Asuka too.
It's pronounced Asuka.
Take your word on that one.
Yeah.
I can say Becky Lynch, but I don't know that
Don't
one.
1v1 me on this one. That's my heritage.
No. Right.
I'll
Exactly.
correct
That's
you.
my point. Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Ed,
Yes.
Be dumb.
NWO and Bullet Club are two factions that share what hand gesture?
Too sweet.
Very good.
I want you guys to know that the FWO also has that.
Yeah, right.
Back to you, Ryan.
Yes.
Charlotte Flair uses a version of her father's iconic submission, a version that she calls this.
Figure 8.
Figure 8 is correct. Ed, back to you. Name
I'm
all
tagging
four-
Austin in.
Okay. Austin, you've been tagged in. Name all 4 members of Evolution.
Batista, Dave Batista, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Triple H.
Very good. Exactly correct.
Ric Flair was in there? Huh.
Yep.
Yes.
I was thinking Randy Orton for some reason. But all right.
He was. That's when
He
Randy
does, he
Orton was
mentioned
fat, actually. He was.
Ryan,
he
you
was,
going or you
was that?
tagging Nate?
Let's
You
tag
going or
Nate.
you tag-
Tag Nate.
No, don't do it.
You don't want to?
Wait,
No,
too
keep
bad.
going, man. You're on
Tag.
the board now.
I'm the champ.
I'm done.
Yeah. I
Which-
untag myself. Ryan's.
Nope.
You gave yourself a high five or what? Like, go me.
I'm in. All right. Which Hispanic wrestler in WWE adopted a cross arm breaker as a finishing submission?
Wow.
Oh,
I'm actually drawing a blank here, too.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Which Hispanic wrestler in WWE adopted a cross arm breaker as a finishing submission?
It makes it a lot harder when he said Hispanic.
Yeah.
No, because, I mean, there's a couple people that use it, but
Right. Well, I mean, that's.
I have an idea.
how do you? I know.
You know it.
Yeah.
All right.
You can tag somebody in, Nate, or you can just continue sitting there silently like you're in timeout. Whichever you think's better for the listeners.
I'm just gonna sit here quietly.
you should have told him you got to count till 10, and then if not, you forfeit.
I'm too bad we weren't live. Everyone could just stare at him.
Bell.
If we
I'm
were
gonna-
live, I just would have put the camera on him like Garth and been like, awkward.
I'm having fun.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Taking
All right,
right.
enough
in.
stalling.
Ryan, or first,
Austin knows the answer.
Yeah. What's the answer?
Alberto Del Rio.
very good.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
would've
I
gotten
would
that.
have gotten it wrong.
Great character.
Ryan, here's your 5-point question.
All right.
The New Day's Xavier Woods brings what instrument to the ring?
Trombone.
Yeah.
Trombone is correct. Okay. So we are back to. Is Austin still in?
It's still Austin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. While the 12th NXT champion was. I can't even pronounce that name. Andrade Almas?
Oh, Andrade.
Andrade
Andrade.
Cien Almas.
Yeah. And the 14th was Tommaso
Ciampa.
Ciampa. Which WWE superstar was the unlucky 13th? So who was between them two, in other words?
Oh my goodness. I'm so disappointed in myself.
You can tag it in for another question.
This is how I felt when I couldn't remember Ambrose's name.
Oh my gosh. And like I love NXT and this was
Ryan, do you know?
No, offhand, no.
Ed, do you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Of course I knows.
Yeah, dumbass. Come on. Remember, Austin's pretty, not smart. I'm
Ed,
kidding.
Ed, I'll just be pretty for this podcast here. I'll take it.
So you tagged Ed in. Ed, you want to tell us the answer before I ask you your 5-point question?
I'm pretty sure it was Drew McIntyre.
This is Alistair Black.
Yes.
Oh,
See,
I would have gotten it wrong.
I was like, yeah.
My bad.
Your
When you said
5-point
unlucky,
question.
when you said unlucky, I was thinking about how Drew McIntyre broke his leg during his championship.
Oh, yeah. They meant the unlucky 13 for the number.
I get it. I
was thinking of Finn Balor. Sorry.
Balor, not Baylor.
Now, do I get a 5-point question still?
Yes. 5-point question. Which WWE superstar did Jake the Snake let his snake bite?
Oh, yes, the Macho Man.
Yeah.
Snap into the Slim Jim.
Exactly correct. Randy Savage. Whose turn is it on the other?
It's on Ryan's.
Mine.
It's Ryan. All right,
Oh, it's Ryan. Okay.
What is Mark Henry's nickname?
Strongest man. Wait.
Nope. Ed, can you confirm that that's incorrect? Because I don't want to be wrong.
Technically, it's correct and incorrect at the same time.
All right. How about I just throw it out instead, since Ed's saying that's a technicality? Since he's saying it's incorrect and correct at the same time.
Like
I can see how he's saying that, because maybe depending on what the Reddit person used.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm trying to think, Ed, what that person's opinion is.
Does it just need to be extended?
That's
in the beginning of his career, it was what you said.
Yeah.
And then it changed into something else at a later date.
Yeah. That's why I'm thinking that whatever the person wrote down on Reddit may be the later one, because technically, at one point in time in his career, he did go by that strongest man.
What isn't he the world's strongest man, not just the strongest man?
But
I don't know if that
it was later on that it became world's strongest man or strongest man.
Do you know what the other name is?
Well,
what do you mean?
Do you know what the other name is?
There's something else.
I say you throw it out and we get another one.
Okay. Ed, what was it that I was looking
Sexual
for?
chocolate.
There you go.
chocolate. Oh my god.
That was WCW days. I
true.
should know that.
Yeah,
He never
that was
worked
those
for WCW.
That was those Fabulous Moolah days. You remember that,
That's
Ed?
what I know. All right,
When he was when he kissed Fabulous
yeah.
Moolah. Oh, that was Well, all right, moving on.
Here's your replacement question.
All right.
If a wrestler faces away from an opponent and performs a backflip from an elevated position to land on a supine opponent's abdomen and his or her own abdomen, this move is generally called a what?
Wait, say that again. So
geez, do I really have to read the whole thing again? So if a wrestler faces away from an opponent and performs a backflip from an elevated position.
Okay, I'll stop you there. Moonsault.
Moonsault's correct. Very
sorry.
good.
I was trying to picture what you were saying, so yeah, sorry.
So guys, after another 5 rounds, so we're 15 each, so 30 total, I think, right?
So are we at?
That's what I have. I have 30.
We went into overtime.
We did.
Right? Well, I have so you guys actually stayed tied since we talked. So still a 10-point lead to the guests versus the hosts.
To the BBE.
Okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll go one more round for each team and see if we can have a lead change, and then we're going to call it quits. Sound good?
Yep.
Cool. I'm great.
Okay.
All right. So I believe we're on Ed because you got tagged in. Is that correct?
Okay. Sure.
All right. Let me find one of these good ones. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Name the original big three of Lucha Libre.
Ooh.
Nacho Libre and Sean
Clint. Dingus. You're not helping right now.
AAA. We're talking about the organizations, right?
Not the way I'm reading the question.
Oh, okay.
So you're looking for individuals?
Yes.
It sounds like the big three wrestlers of Lucha Libre.
Yes.
Well, then I'd go with Mil Mascaras.
Okay.
I'd say Rey Mysterio and Hector Garza.
It's not the three that are listed here.
Okay. Well, that's my answer.
It's got the first one.
Okay.
It's got the first one. It also has Blue Demon and El Santo.
Blue Demon, I would say, yeah, maybe. you know. But that's a very loaded question, in my opinion. And that's not
Yeah,
really
see,
It
that's-
depends. It depends
I
on
don't know.
someone's personal preference.
yeah, I don't feel that's
Yeah.
very fair to Ed.
A lot of those, because of there's so many changes in wrestling with teams and all that stuff, some of these questions can be kind of muddied up. So I'll go ahead and throw that one out and ask you a
Yeah,
different one.
I don't think that was
Okay.
really fair to him.
All right, Ed.
Okay.
I'm impressed you knew 3 though. I'll give you credit.
Yeah,
for that.
that's yeah.
I didn't.
Who founded NJPW?
Give me a second.
Old Japan?
Masahiro Chono.
See, again, that's not what's listed here.
What's
Okay.
listed?
Antonio Inaki.
Oh, that's probably right. I'll give it. I'm wrong. I'll take the L.
Good for you,
Okay,
though, Ed.
so
I wouldn't have known that at all.
over to 20 points. Clint, since you're keeping score, can you double check that? Can you Google that and see what Google says of who founded NJPW? See what it comes up with. All right, so Ryan, I think you're still in for your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Nate
Okay.
wants to be tagged in after the last.
It is.
No.
It is Antonio.
Okay, who coined the finishing maneuver called Eat Defeat?
What? I've never heard of this before.
I told you I was picking some hard ones for the last ones. You can tag him in for a 5-point question.
I'm gonna tag Nate in, but I'm curious, Ed, have you ever heard of this finishing move?
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't feel
It
that
says-
bad now.
It says Gail Kim.
No.
Wow.
Do people care about
Wow.
her?
She was in the WWE for all of like a year and a half. So
Yeah.
wow.
She was big in Impact. She
yeah.
is big in Impact.
Did you find anything yet, Clint?
Yeah,
Confirmed.
Antonio's the answer.
And
Okay.
so Nate, you get your question now.
Oh
Here we
god.
go.
Now wait a minute. I want to just clarify. So Ed got it wrong, which means that went to Ryan, who had a 20-point question. He's now tagging, which now means it's a 10-point question to Nate.
They get the 20 points. So Ed's wrong answer gave the hot dog team
Oh,
points.
I screwed it
See.
over for us, Austin. I'm sorry.
I'm turning heel on you, Ed.
But now hold on now.
I'm
If
just
my math's correct from the last update Clint gave me, that puts them ahead by 10 points. Is that right, Clint?
Sounds like
But if Nate can't answer this question, he can't tag anybody in.
Yeah.
That doubles the 5 to 10, and that puts y'all back at tied again. So it literally does come down to this question, or we're back to another round.
Screw it up, Nate.
I'm
Don't-
probably gonna. All
don't
right.
screw it up.
just guess now.
Yeah.
Just guess some random name. Dean Malenko.
Just say hot dog.
Here we go.
All right.
Who did Randy Savage marry in a WWF ring?
Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth is correct. So our winners are the hot dogs.
I can't believe I got beat
Such
by
a lame
meat.
name.
Okay,
I
that might
think
be a
we
podcast.
just found the
episode.
title of the episode.
I got
can't
beat
believe
by
I got
meat.
I mean,
Oh, that's good.
He was
All right.
waiting for that. That's my answer.
Yeah,
last
that was
time.
a good one.
That.
God, Joey, that was tough, man. That was fun, but
Yeah,
that was, you got
that
some
was really
crazy
great.
questions in there. That was
Look,
a good one.
kudos to y'all for some of the answers that y'all knew. I mean, I thought I was a semi-wrestling fan, but some of this stuff, man, I was like, there's no way they're going to know the answer. And then it was like, it wasn't just Ed. Like, Ed knowing it wouldn't have surprised me, but Ryan knowing some of this stuff, and then Nate, and then Pretty Boy Keel. I was like, good.
Pretty Boy Keel.
Lord.
I have redeemed myself. Obviously, yes, I am a wrestling fan. Maybe not as much as before, but I am a wrestling fan.
That Gail Kim question.
Yeah.
That
a
was
good one.
that was a
That
tough
was
one.
really good as like a final question.
Yeah, that was good.
It was worth the points, right? Because that was a super tough question. Definitely worth. Thank you, Joey. As always, your games
Yes.
are absolutely incredible. Really, really, really thank you for that. Yeah, I feel like honestly we could probably go another hour reminiscing about wrestling and just our wrestling memories and things that we enjoy about it. So we're probably gonna have to book you guys back in to do a part 2 of this at some point in the near
Sounds
future.
good.
So hopefully you guys will be happy to join us again. Before we get too much into the closing stuff, Ed, Austin, thank you for joining us today. Do you guys have any social? You want to plug your social accounts or anything like that? Let people know where they can find you.
Go for it, Ed.
I'm on Instagram as epogue6. I'm on Twitter as Buttwasted, It's spelled just like it sounds. Otherwise, I'm not. Yeah, all one word. I'm not promoting anything except hey, check out Austin's stuff.
Well, in your defense, you do some great art yourself, especially with gifts and stuff. So yeah,
man, those are amazing. Love
right.
Appreciate it.
So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
All right, Austin, your turn.
Yeah, find me on Instagram at the Funko Hunko or on Twitter as Austin _Keel.
You should definitely change it to Sexy Boy now.
That's it.
I think Pretty Boy Keel has a better wrestling.
Pretty Boy Keel has a better. Flows a little better.
I think Abby will like that too, Austin.
Yeah, sure. I'll run it by her.
I'm sure she'll love that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, make sure you guys are following these guys on Instagram, following them on Twitter. They're very active. They're awesome to interact with. They're good guys. We loved having them on today. Quick final housekeeping things. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at _Dorksmen. You can always email us at dorksmen@gmail.com. Please play along. Dorksmenbingo.com is where you can find the bingo card. I don't think we hit a lot of bingo squares this week, so this might be a slow week for Ed.
Ed can tell us when he re-listens.
Yeah. But yeah, next week it is going to be our 1 year. The 1 year since the four Dorksmen have formed and started recording. So we'll probably be doing a special hour-long pre-party. Throughout the week, I think we'll have some streams going. Ryan will probably doing some retro games, probably on his channel, Asian Tony Stark on Twitch. We'll probably have Clint on, maybe doing some Mario Kart or Splatoon or something, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday night. Yeah, on twitch.tv/thedorksmen. And hopefully Joey and I can jump in and do some more Fall Guys because that was a lot of fun yesterday.
No doubt.
Yeah. Any last words from anybody before we call it a day?
I do want to plug something for Ed. Since he and I think you're the moderator, or you might have been the one that formed the group, but on Facebook, there's a wrestling group that he invited me to called Crossface. So being that the episode is themed around wrestling talk, if you guys are interested, please jump in. There's a lot of good conversation. Ed posts a lot of great information as well. It'd be a good time. Join us there.
Yeah, thank you.
Do it. If you like wrestling, do it.
Rum and Coke.
All right. I guess if that's all we've got today, that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Word, homies.
You think you know me.
Oh my God, there's so much blood.
Oh, you didn't know?